The helicopter cut through the clouds like a blade through mist. The wind howled, shaking the fuselage as the mountains rose ahead. White, endless, merciless. Sergeant Cole Anders sat strapped in, his gloved hands gripping his rifle across his lap. His breath fogged his visor with every exhale. It had been 3 months since the Black Pine operation. 3 months since those red-eyed creatures tore through the woods and his sense of reality. He'd filed his report. The brass had called it psychological stress from isolation. They buried the file under unknown wildlife event and sent him for debrief. Now, he was right back where he started. Alone. The pilot's voice crackled through his headset. "We're approaching Outpost Theta. No radio contact for 5 days. You'll check in every 2 hours. Copy?" Cole nodded. "Copy. Any sign of the research team?" "Greater than negative. The storm's been covering all thermal signatures. Just static and snow." The pilot gave a half smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Good luck, soldier." The chopper hovered for a second, rotors screaming against the wind, and then Cole jumped into the snow. The cold hit him like a physical blow. The moment the helicopter vanished behind the curtain of white, all sound seemed to die. Just wind, just emptiness. The Northern Ridge Mountains were known to devour those who wandered too far. There were stories, old ones, about lights that moved beneath the ice, about voices that called out in the snow using the voices of the dead. Cole dismissed the myths, but something in this silence felt wrong. He trudged forward, following the faint signal beacon on his wrist display. After nearly an hour, the silhouette of the outpost emerged, a cluster of metal domes and antennae half buried under the snowdrifts. A generator flickered weakly in the distance, giving off a dying hum. Cole pushed the heavy steel door open. "Outpost Theta, this is Sergeant Anders," he said into his radio. "Respond if you copy." Nothing but static. The inside was dark. Frost crawled across the walls like veins. Tables overturned, equipment smashed. No blood, no bodies. Only empty beds and cold food trays, meals half-eaten, frozen solid. He flicked his flashlight over a whiteboard near the command desk. Equations covered it. Strange, circular symbols drawn over scientific notes. In red marker, one sentence stood out. "Greater than it moves under the ice." Cole swallowed hard and turned toward the storage bay. The noise started there. A deep rhythmic thump, 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 coming from below. The storage room door was iced shut. It took him 5 minutes to pry it open. Inside, the temperature dropped even further. His breath hung thick in the air. At the far end was a circular floor hatch, half buried in frost, sealed with bolts. The sound was louder now, like something was alive down there. He leaned down, brushing the frost away with his glove. Symbols, the same ones from the whiteboard, were etched into the metal. They weren't scratches. They were carved with precision, like runes. The moment his hand touched the surface, the noise stopped. He froze. For several long seconds there was only silence. Then, 3 slow knocks from the other side. Cole staggered back, his heart hammering. He raised his rifle toward the hatch. "Who's down there?" No answer, just the echo of his own voice. He activated his body cam. "This is Anders. I've located a sealed sublevel under the outpost. Unknown activity below." He searched for the logs. In the lab, he found one computer still running on backup power. Files corrupted. He scrolled through fragmented data, environmental readings, seismic scans, all showing strange activity beneath the outpost. But the final log caught his eye. Entry number 47, Dr. Amelia Rains. "We found something ancient under the ice. It's not mineral, not metal. It feels alive. The readings fluctuate like a heartbeat. The crew's been having nightmares. Some say they hear whispers when they sleep near the core chamber. We should have never drilled this deep." Cole looked at the timestamp, 48 hours before contact was lost. Then the lights flickered. Once, twice, and something moved behind him. He spun around, flashlight cutting through the dark. At the far end of the corridor, through the fog of frost, a figure stood. Pale, translucent, tall, too tall. Its eyes were hollow, glowing faintly blue. Cole froze. The thing tilted its head. When it moved, it didn't walk. It drifted, slow and fluid, like smoke and water. Its voice wasn't sound. It was vibration, cold enough to hurt. "You shouldn't be here." Cole fired a burst from his rifle. Bullets tore through empty air. The figure shattered like mist, scattering into snowflakes that vanished. He backed away, chest heaving, until his shoulder hit the wall. His radio crackled to life. Static, then a faint whisper. Greater than Cole, leave it buried. His blood ran cold. The voice on the radio. It was his own. He ran, down the corridor, past the broken lab, into the storage bay again. The hatch now stood open. A column of icy mist rose from below, glowing faintly. His flashlight beam vanished into the white abyss. Something moved in the mist. Long, serpentine, massive. The air pulsed, vibrating through the metal floor. Cole switched his body cam to night vision. The screen filled with motion, shapes, dozens of them, crawling along the walls of the shaft, their limbs jointed wrong, their faces blank. They climbed like insects toward the surface. Cole dropped a thermite grenade down the hole and ran. The explosion echoed, sending a wave of heat and snow through the base. The lights burst. The ceiling groaned. The outpost began to collapse. He burst out into the storm, coughing, his vision swimming. Behind him, the structure caved inward, swallowed by white. But the ground beneath him trembled, not from the blast, but from something moving far below. He stumbled toward higher ground, visibility near zero. The snow beneath his boots cracked, thin ice over a valley drop. He fell to his knees just as a fissure ripped through the ground. Beneath the ice, illuminated by a faint blue glow, lay something vast. Not a cavern, a structure. Circular, metallic, impossibly old, its surface etched with the same runes from the hatch. And at its center pulsed a dim, steady light, like a heartbeat. Cole whispered into his recorder. "Command, this is Anders." The outpost wasn't researching geology, it was containment. Whatever's under the ice, it's awake. Do not send another team. Do not... The signal cut off. The ground split wide open. Cole slipped, grabbing a jagged edge of ice as the valley collapsed. Below him, shapes stirred, enormous, shifting, reaching. A gust of freezing wind blasted upward, filled with whispers that clawed into his mind. He looked down and saw eyes, hundreds of them, opening in the dark. He fired his last flare into the sky. The red light vanished into the storm. Then the ice gave way. 3 days later, a rescue team arrived. All they found was ruin. The outpost flattened, snow churned and melted in strange circular patterns. No bodies, no blood, just one half-buried recorder still blinking faintly beneath the frost. When they played it back, there was no voice, only wind, and, faintly, beneath it, a slow, rhythmic thump, 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 as if something beneath the mountains was still breathing.